We saw a hyperscrape. Let's talk about the hyperscrape. And going into this game, I was not nearly as confident as the previous Clasico because obviously since then, Barca have regressed, Madrid have progressed. It's as simple as that. Barca's form is very poor going into this game, except the last two games this year, the Bilbao match and the Copa del Rey match versus like the ninth division team. But Madrid, quite frankly, were winning games. Whether they were playing well as a team or not, they were getting the points, the 3 points, and they were winning games. And that's what, you know, had me thinking it wouldn't be not anywhere near as dominant from Barcelona as last time around. But from the get go, and I mean from the get go, like within the like by the first minute, Barca were dominating. Lamine Yamal cut in, had a shot, saved by Courtois. Gavi's making a run in. Yamal gives him a ball. Gavi whips the ball in. Header from Rafinha. Great header, by the way. Saved by Courtois. And it was two very good shots on target from Barcelona that set the tone of the game. And Barca got a corner of that. Rafinha whips the ball in, and something happens. I don't know exactly what happened, but the ball is loose. Vinny wins the ball of Casado after he slips, and it wasn't a foul. It was just a poor mistake from Casado, and it wasn't a foul. But Vinny capitalizes, and now when you have Vinny and Mbappe up top, I mean the pace you have up there is going to be very difficult to catch up to, especially on a corner counterattack. Vinny gives the ball to Mbappe, and Mbappe from the halfway line just covers ground at just warp speed. Like he's from the halfway line to the top of the 18 within seconds. He does a very good step over against Balde, gets past him, and it's a good finish from Mbappe. It's 1-0. Balde, in my opinion, could have done better there, and he should have done better there. But once it got to the step over part, he couldn't really do much. Mbappe was too rapid with it there, and it was a good finish. So it was 1-0 Madrid, and I thought at this point, this game was going to be one of those games where Barca's going to get a billion chances, while Madrid eats up a billion chances, and Madrid's still going to end up with the win. And this is a very common, thing with Barcelona and Madrid when it comes to any game that they play, not just Clásicos. Um, but Barcelona showed a lot of resilience yesterday, and listen, you have to give them fair play because we're going to talk about the red card later on, but the fact that they didn't just crumble like they usually have done in the past 10 years of this club, you have to give them their applause. You have to give them their flowers because it's definitely a different mentality from the team we're seeing currently, and they've proved it. Listen, like yesterday, everyone had a role. Everyone knew how to play their role. You didn't have any players, like Lewandowski here, like now and again, like Koundé now and again, just like just moving around the field, trying to look busy, like do, not knowing where they're going, not knowing what they're doing. They're just moving around for no reason to look busy. That wasn't the case yesterday. Everybody had a purpose, and everybody's role was played absolutely perfect. Koundé makes a nice pass into Lewandowski, who's coming back once again to get involved in the play, and Lewandowski with a very nice first time through ball around the back of I think it was Kamavinga or Rudiger pushing up on him. Yamal was through here, and listen, fair play to Lewandowski. Yeah, he's been absolutely shocking the past 2 to 3 months, but fair play yesterday. He performed very well considering when he dropped deep to get involved in the play with the passes, with the touches. With the hold-up play, he did very well. Yamal now for this first goal cuts in and he takes his time. He is not, running at maximum pace and power like somebody who is, a footballer that just thinks they need to run at maximum pace and power to get something out of the situation. He knows where he's going. He knows what the next steps are he has to take before he even takes them. And when it comes to that finish, listen, it's a very mature finish. It's a Messi-esque finish. You don't need to blast it and slam into the net. It doesn't matter if it's Courtois there. You need to just wrong foot him and slot it in the net, pass it in. That was the case with Imal, and the fact that he can do that at that age, the maturity he has at that age to do that on the pitch and actually do it, in a big game like this in a final against their biggest rivals. Unbelievable talent. This is what happens when you have a real footballing talent on your hands. Not some player who has very good strength and power, has very good pace, and is good at as a final action attacking player, like just getting a shot off or getting an assist off. You have a player like a Yamal who can dribble, who can create, who can, you know, not feel the pressure of situations It doesn't matter what defenders around him. He will not feel the pressure. He will always get out of tough situations with pressure on him. And when you have a player like that, it doesn't matter what age he is. You have a real footballer on your hands, and that was the case for that first goal. And then for the second goal, Gavi does superbly well to get there before Camavinga. I mean, these Madrid players yesterday, they looked like they didn't even want to play. I mean, you have games where the opposition is poor, but Madrid literally looked like they did not want to play. And you have to feel for Mbappe because he did very well yesterday considering the circumstances, and even Valverde did pretty well yesterday. Rodrigo was decent, but nothing special. Valverde did decently in the first half, but after that, other than Mbappe, it was shocking for them. And I mean shocking. It wasn't just a case of they were poor, they weren't even trying. Even Vinicius Jr. was not even, like running. Like he wasn't even running. Bellingham, I mean, is even a midfielder. Like I don't know why we need to consider players who don't affect multiple phases of the play midfielders. I mean, he always gets best in the world shouts when the goals start coming in, but I don't see best midfielder in the world shots for him when the goals are not coming in, and that's the case with not just Barca fans. It's a case with the footballing world. People only liked Bellingham last season because he was scoring goals, and when that's the case, you have to really reconsider the role he has in this team, which is obviously as a box crasher, whether he's a midfielder or a second striker. He is just not a midfielder that controls the tempo, that brings the team up. It's not his role, and he proved it yesterday, and he's proved it at the start of the season. He had a very good, strong, last 2 to 3 months, but other than that, he's been very poor this season, midfield, control-wise, passing-wise. Back to Barcelona, though. I don't want to talk about Madrid too much. Listen, Gavi does very well to win that ball in the penalty box. He got there before Camavinga, and that's a stonewall penalty. I know it was a weak contact from Camavinga. He didn't just, absolutely slam his cleats into Gavi's thigh, but he still hit his thigh with studs up, and you can't do that in the penalty box. Camavinga was very, very lackadaisical there. You cannot do that. It's a penalty. It's a wonderful shot from Lewandowski, and it's 2-1. And Barcelona turned the game around against a big team in a final, and God knows how long. I mean, when's the last time they had to turn a game around completely from being down early on in a final, in a big game? I mean, I can only think of the 2006 UCL final. It wasn't the case in 2009. It wasn't the case. I can't think of anything else. So you have to give them their flowers for that. The third goal, I mean, that pass from, well, firstly, Araujo came in for Inigo Martinez, who's injured now for probably 5 weeks. Inigo Martinez didn't do too well yesterday, but I think it was destiny for Araujo to come in and have a good performance, considering all the things around the team going on. You know how he's apparently wants to leave, whatever. It was destiny for him to come into a big game like this, wear the captain's armband, and have a good performance. Because from the second Araujo stepped on the pitch, it was just pure domination in the back line. I mean, he was winning headers, he was winning loose balls. He barely got dribble pass. Let's check here real quick. How many times Araujo was dribble pass yesterday? And it was 0. 3 clearances, 2 tackles, and 1 block shot and 1 interception. I mean, this is a very good performance. He won 2 of his 3 ground duels, and listen, it was a very dominant performance from him. And this is what he's needed. This is what the team needed. He came in, he won that ball with the header over Vinny. The ball went to Koundé, and Koundé with a very Trent Alexander-Arnold-esque ball into the box. I mean, Rafinha's running into the box, not too deep, but is a bit of a deeper run. Vasquez, as per, I mean, I don't know what he's doing. You cannot be playing in a game like this for a club like Real Madrid and perform like this consistently. I mean, Rafinha's running in there, and he is so lost. I mean, he does not know where to be. He doesn't know what run to track, even though there's only one run to track. He couldn't figure it out, and unbelievable ball from Koundé, and the header from Rafinha is absolutely, laser beamed in. Like he makes perfect contact and is absolutely driven into that low corner. It's 3-1 Barcelona, and they absolutely at this point had the game in their control, in their hands. If you take a look at the overall stats of this game, we have the first half here where Barca had 5 more shots, 3 more big chances, a lot of more possession, and more passes, more corners. I mean, it was just a dominant performance in that first half. And then for the corner that led to the counterattack for Barcelona, for the goal, for Baldi's goal, which he really deserved. He had a very good game yesterday, apart from that little, Mbappe run at the start. Listen, I don't know what Rodrigo was doing there, but Yamal did very well to intercept that pass before Valverde got to it and did some kind of demon power shot. So Yamal did well there. He did very well with the body feints to get past Valverde. Valverde at that point had to make a decision: tackle Yamal or try to run over Rafinha. He chose to go with Rafinha. Yamal gives the ball to Rafinha, and Rafinha now, he's beating Valverde, who, by the way, Valverde yesterday got back very quickly to some very dangerous balls from Barcelona. So he did well in that regard. He was one of the decent performers, I guess you could say, yesterday, but it didn't really come to anything. Rafinha gets past him. He does a very nice chop to get around him. He slips Valverde, and he does a very light tap for Balde for him to just take it with his run smoothly, and it was a wonderful finish. Courtois, I mean, Barca did very well at the finishing yesterday. Courtois, I've never seen him concede so many like goals from shots in a row like that. He did save him from more goals conceded, considering the first two shots Barca took. But nonetheless, Barca capitalized on the chances they had. Very good goal from Balde, and Barca going to halftime with 4 goals to 1, a 3 goal margin. But before that first half ended, the what's it called? The referee added 8 to 9 minutes because of Mbappe's injury. And in those 8 to 9 minutes, Madrid were, creeping up the pitch a little bit, and Barca had to make sure that they were not going to concede a goal before halftime, because if that happened, it was going to be a very difficult and different game in the second half. Um, Listen, then once that second half started, Barca started very strongly. Madrid were trying to push up to get some goals back, and on a transition, Casado with an absolutely unbelievable through ball to Rafinha, who was already making the run from deep again. I mean, his runs have been penetrative this season. Wonderful pass from Casado, and Rafinha is going in behind now. Of course, he has the speed to get past Tchouaméni, and he gets into the area. You have Rudiger, Tchouaméni, and someone behind him. He does very well to cut quickly to go on the blind side of Tchouaméni, and it's once again a very nice diagonal driven finish against Courtois, and it's 5-1. And listen, I'm not gonna say Rudiger has had like a crazy good season, but if anyone is holding that Madrid defense together, it's him, because Vasquez is completely lost. Chouameni, who although he did play well at center back last season, has been shocking there this season. And Ferland Mendy, I mean, he was actually good at one point, but now he just can't defend. His attacking is poor. I don't know what's happened to him, because he does have the ability. He has the pace and the power. He has the skill to, get involved in the play, and has some of the defensive ability to stop some of the attacks, but he just got absolutely fried numerous times this season, and it's just Rudiger who's even doing anything relevant or of note in that back line. But Barca 5-1, and at that point, the game was on track to end. No joke, it was literally on track to end at least 7-8-1. Like no joke, and that Chesney red card. Listen, that Barca got the red card there and still conceded. So there was really no point for that red card. I think the Barca players need to learn that they're better off conceding than getting a red card there, because it was still pretty early on in the second half. And even if he didn't tackle Mbappe there, Araujo was still close enough to Mbappe on the run to maybe even get the ball away to prevent the goal. But either way, Barca got the goal, conceded, and the red. So there was no need for that. Either way, Chesney did pretty well other than the red card. He made some pretty decent saves, and he came out for some decent interceptions when the ball was crossed in from Madrid players, particularly this one Vasquez cross in the first half. But since from that moment, listen, it was 5-2, and it was pretty much game over as the time went on, because Madrid couldn't really find the opportunity to get a comeback. They scored that Rodrigo free kick, which I'm not sure how it did it. I mean, it was a great shot, but I think Peña could have done a bit better there. Either way, listen, 5-2, they couldn't find the comeback on. Bellingham, shocking. Vinicius, shocking. Rodrigo, decent. Valverde, decent. Tchouaméni, Vasquez, and Camavinga, shocking. I mean, I don't know what happened yesterday. I thought it was going to be a pretty close game considering the circumstances. Overall, it was not the case. 5-2. I think all things considered, Madrid should be happy it wasn't more than that and less the goals for them. So anywhere around 7-1, 8-9-1. These are score lines you don't really consider in games like this between these two teams, but it's happened twice this season. I think Barcelona need to make sure they do not stagnate now, as they did in the first half of the season, where they started insane and then just stagnated. It cannot happen now. Barca need to get active in the January transfer window, get some depth. Don't buy some crazy players. Unless you're going for Rafael Leao and Alexander Isak, do not spend a lot of money on players that are going to be there for depth. Get loan signings, get players who are going to be good depth and good cover options, and they're going to need that, because once the second half of the season really hits, La Liga is going to enter crunch time. La Liga games are going to become like finals every game, especially if the table's close. You have the UCL knockouts. You have the Copa del Rey knockouts. Every game becomes important. It's going to be important to have squad depth, especially for the positions they don't have, which is center back, which is the fullback areas, which is the attacking areas. Barcelona only have depth in the midfield currently. They need to make sure they don't stagnate in the second half of the season, because it can mean absolute devastation if they're performing very well in the first part of it. So listen, Barca dominant once again in a big game. Good win from them. Hopefully now they compete for Copa del Rey, UCL, and La Liga. In my opinion, this season, La Liga, either one of La Liga or UCL is a must. I think Hansi Flick is focusing on the UCL because he's more of a tournament dominant manager, which is why he's won 6 out of 6 finals he's been in. Um, and also, listen, the Barca haven't won UCL in 10 years. I think it's time for them to put some focus on that competition and really, really try and win it. I think it's time. Um, but yeah, look, a good win from Barcelona, and it's been a very dominant cup game from them. They've finally won a trophy after a very poor finish to last season, and it's everything Barca fans want to see. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think of the game. It was a very good, very strong performance from Barcelona. All the players can leave there with their head held high up, except maybe Inigo Martinez due to the injury, and Chesney for the red card, I guess. But I don't think he cares too much. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video.